You're listening to Real Love, Real Stories TV and podcast. This is the final episode to close out 2019. What a year it has been. Thank you so much for being the greatest cheerleaders out there. Couldn't have done it all without you. So let's start off by talking about some wins. What are some wins for Real Love, Real Stories? Well, the first one is we've added live events. And so far doing 3 different cities, Phoenix, Oklahoma, and still to come, Dallas. And had our first sold out event in Phoenix in October. So such a great win for 2019. Also, the podcast turned 1 on June 5th, 2019. And looking at the stats for the numbers, the downloads, the podcast has been listened to in 65 countries, even in some countries where, I didn't even know the names, and I would admit. And it was just so nice to see that it's being listened there. It just goes to show you that love is a universal language. And then also launched the monthly newsletter in August. So Real Love, Real Stories had so many great wins, but those are some of the ones I thought to highlight. Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/Real Love, Real Stories and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/Real Love, Real Stories to get started today. And, we released a ton of episodes where we decided to go and release episodes on the 1st, 10th, and the 20th. So I wanted to share some of the top 10 for 2019. And this is based on the number of downloads. So it's really you, the listener, are the ones who made these the top 10. So the first one is 5 relationship goals to aspire to. This one is doing really, really good. And that tells me that you as an audience, this is the type of material that you want to listen to. The second one is her pregnancy saved his life. This is a conversation I had with a vet who almost took his life. And the announcement of his wife being pregnant is what saved his life. Great episode. You should listen to it. The third one is where I interviewed the pastor from my church, and we're talking about, is premarital counseling important? And I had done a Facebook survey, and I incorporate that into the episode. So, take a listen and see what you think. The fourth one is online dating, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and even catfish stories as well. The fifth one is she had the desire for a guy to ask her to marry her before going on a date. And he did. And this also is a glimpse into the Zimbabwean culture. I'm interviewing my aunt and my uncle, and we're talking about how they courted each other and how they ended up getting married and some of the, sprinkles of the Zimbabwean culture in that episode. So definitely take a listen to that. The sixth one is being overweight, over the hill, and battling internal fears did not stop her from finding love. In this interview, I'm talking to Linda, who's also a dating architect, and she really talks about how she found love and has been married 10 years now. So she has a really great method of how to help other people also find love. So go ahead and take a listen to that episode, and it will tell you a little more about her story. The seventh one is love is not a big enough word to describe what they have for each other. This is where I'm talking to Mei-Ling and Cameron. And then the next one, I'm talking to Jessica, where she reveals how she found love after being lied to, cheated on, and left brokenhearted. But it has a happy ending because she's married now and has a child and is happily married. The ninth one is the 4 simple but very important tips to help you find the relationship that you desire. And the last one is 5 ways of expressing and experiencing love. Which one is yours? So those are the top 10 episodes that are doing very well for 2019. And again, this is all because you have downloaded them and you have listened. So thank you to you. And now I want to do some shout outs. I want to give a shout out to the podcast guests. I mean, these people have invited you into their lives by sharing their love stories with you. I know a lot of people cannot do this, but they have opened up their love stories really and shared them with you. So again, it's been listened in 65 countries. So I am so grateful to all the podcast guests who have been on Real Love, Real Stories ever since I started it. So thank you to all the podcast guests and also to you, the listeners, because without you, it wouldn't be successful. So thank you for tuning in and hearing the stories that my guests are sharing, the solo episodes that I put out there. And to the storytellers for doing what most people cannot do, is go in front of live audience and share stories. A lot of people cannot stand, public speaking can be very daunting. A lot of people cannot do it, but I have some amazing people who have said yes, and even upcoming that have said yes, they want to do it. And I'm so grateful for that. And then for the sponsors who sponsored the live events, for the live event attendees who came to hear the great stories, and for Heard Museum for collaborating with Real Love Real Stories to bring these stories live here in Phoenix, and for my team for supporting me, for believing in what I do, and for joining in and helping me bring these amazing stories to the stage, amazing stories to the podcast. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful to every single one of you. And I wish you all the best. 2019 was a great year. I hope 2020 is an even better year for you. And of course, we'll continue to bring you some amazing stories. And I wish you health, love, and happiness and joy in the upcoming year. And thank you all so much, and Happy New Year.